Cool. So with the email coming from the AVP today with the July and August events, I just want to send this video out with some information on getting back to full-fledged practicing and making sure that we're actually keeping the volume of jumps, swings, and change of direction in mind. So touching on those three categories, for jumps, okay, blocker, average number of jumps are 70 to 100 during an FIVB match. Defenders, average number of jumps 50 to 80. If you want more information on you specifically as an individual, in the Monday Montage newsletter, Tyler Whittison's part was the Shiny Jump Data app. Click on that link. You guys can find your exact jump numbers on the FIVB and you can look at 2-set matches and 3-set matches and find your average, and then you'll be able to plan your jump count around that. Okay, but again, these are the averages, and take some time getting back up there as far as intense game-like jumps per practice. My kind of overall principle when it comes to jumping is predictable before unpredictable, and kind of lead that in. So predictable would be in system setting, okay, and then attacking, you know where the ball is going, you know what kind of shot you're going to take. For a blocker, this would be kind of coach up on a bench, you're doing 1-arm read, 2-arm read, you know the jump that you're going to take and the move that you're going to make, it's not reactive. Once you get a good foundation of that, you can then progress into unpredictable jumps, which would be more disrupt and read drill, more live play, or kind of small-sided games, as I would call them, where it's a game-like drill, okay, and again, it's much more reactive and read-based blocking. For swings, okay, same thing as jumps, think slow to fast, okay, or shooting to hitting. All right, give that shoulder a chance to actually build up a foundation for swinging and being strong overhead before you just rush back into a game-like atmosphere and start taking a bunch of hard swings or a lot of jump serves. Okay, so these are kind of rough numbers right now. I'm going based on the amount of jumps. So 40 to 60 swings would be a good week 1, up to 50 to 70, and then you can expand that top of that range up to 80, okay? And then you can, again, go from slow to fast as far as more shots, and then going into more live hitting where you're actually swinging and taking some hard cuts at it. Now, change of direction is something I want to touch on as well, because a lot of times if somebody wants a low jumping practice, they'll go heavy on the defensive side. However, some intense defensive work is just as much load on the body as jumping. So be very cautious of, if you're a defender and you're trying to get a low day on the sand, make sure that you're not doing a bunch of reactive defensive moves, because that's just as high of load on the body as jumping can be. So again, think plan to reactive, think shooting to hitting, or slow to fast, and then think predictable to unpredictable with jumps. Okay. Another thing I want to touch on is the heat acclimation. Okay, if we're going to be playing at the end of July and then at the beginning of August, it's going to be a warm environment outside. So we really have to make sure that we're starting to acclimatize to the heat. One way to do that is time of practice. Rather than going at that 8 to 10 time period or that morning time period when it's pretty cool. I know the wind kicks up in the afternoon, but if we can find a happy medium between the morning and the late afternoon, maybe a 12 to 2 session, in order to expose our body to the heat on the sand, then your body will be prepared if it is hot end of July, beginning of August. Another passive way to do that is hot baths. Okay, we don't have the sauna up and running in the facility yet. However, if you can find a bath or a hot tub where the water can get to 100 to 105 degrees, sitting in there for 30 to 45 minutes is actually a very good way to acclimatize to the heat. You want to give yourself ideally 5 to 10 days of consistent heat acclimation and consistent heat exposure to truly acclimatize. If you can't do consecutive days, every other day, okay, for 5 to 10 days would also be good enough, okay? So again, just some things to think about whenever we're getting back to the sand. Don't get back to immediately high volume of jumps that are very intense and unpredictable, okay? Let's stay predictable to start and then build our way up. Same with swing, start slow, work to fast, okay, or go from shots to hits. And then lastly, change of direction. Go from planned drills to reactive drills so that we're not just throwing the body back to the sand and throwing a bunch of load at it. One more thing about the weekly practice structure is to make sure that you're kind of alternating between high days and low days. This will really help the body stay fresh throughout the course of an entire week and prevent training monotony, which then leads to overtraining. Okay, an example of training monotony is if it's a basic 5-day practice schedule or even 4-day practice schedule, is pretty much having an 8 out of 10 RPE every single day. Okay, ideally, you would have a hard day and then follow it up with a lower day to let the body relax. On sand, this could just be a skills-based practice, serve and pass type model. Okay, and then you would go up again for an intense day, low again for skills based, and then up again for another intense day. This type of high-low model will prevent overtraining and chronic fatigue throughout the course of a week. Right now we're looking at 4 weeks until those AVP events, so let's make sure that you guys are structuring the entire week and not just day by day to make sure that the body stays fresh and that we're actually being able to increase the work capacity of the body week by week going to those events so that we're truly ready to compete.